All right, welcome everybody. Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, and after having an exciting, interesting weekend, I decided to come on here like I did Friday night. I did I upload for my YouTube channel, Circle Grace One, a presentation for my new book that you see behind me here. It's probably in reverse, in reverse camera to me, but it's the key to life is numerology, your name and date of birth through the study of numbers. And if you want to get a link, secure a link, or I mean, secure a book rather, you could drop into the description section right now and you can click on the link and you can go ahead and have this opportunity to see me interacting live. And this is going to be interesting because I want to just bring out a few things that are connected to the work. Um, and at the same time, I want to let some folks know that I'm broadcasting live on my YouTube channel. So bear with me for a second as I bring some people up to let them know that they can come to my YouTube channel here, Circle Grace One, and if they're available, they could ride the waves with me this evening. This is a definitely an opportunity to be broadcasting live this evening, and I'm hoping that a lot of you will be able to see me. So we're gonna do this right now. Let's get all of the other things out the way. Uh, I just want to let people know, because everybody's asking, am I going to come on and do some things? And of course, I'm doing them now. So they could get on my channel, hopefully, see what I'm doing, see if it's going to now. Yeah, they can come to my channel. And this is going to be a little fun. Let's see what happens. It's always learning how to do things correctly and not the last minute, right? So let's see who picks up on it. And it's going to be interesting. Anyway, I wrote this book. I started writing this book in 2020. And I know a whole lot of people didn't get a chance to jump on it right away. I went through a lot of different things, but I guess I was being pressured by all these different things going on. And I didn't realize also the other things that were happening in the universe. And now all these things are definitely there now. You never know how something comes across or when it comes across. If people have a chance to check you out, and sometimes you just got to do what you do. And so I'm always being led by spirit to kind of jump on and just put my information out. So that's what I'm doing, putting things out for people to experience, and hopefully you get a chance to see what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. And let's see how people take a liking to it. Okay, and I'm going to get to it right away. So, as I'm saying here, this is an opportunity to put some information out and let's see what happens. So, yes, I wrote this book. The key to life is numerology. And this was, an opportunity to share a passion. I've been passionate about numbers, doing numerology charts on various first names, middle names, last names, businesses, um, myself, family members, friends, associates, colleagues, students. And I got started in 1974. And how I got started was fresh out of college. I graduated, received a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in painting. That was from Bard College in June of 1974. In fact, June 1st of 1974. Then going back home and hanging out at my aunt's house with my mom, where we were staying at the time. One of my mother's younger brothers, by the name of Ansel, we all used to call him Ham. He was a chubby fellow, but had a good spirit. He was a Sagittarian. I believe his birthday was December 1st. Yeah, he was December 1st. I think he was 1921 or 1920. That's when he was born. And my Uncle Ansel, he was, I would say, a vibrant person as a Sag, very vibrant, full of jokes, um, had these beaming eyes, clear white eyes, but I mean, his eyes, he was a stocky man. He must have weighed about 250, more than 250. He must have been close to 300. He stood about 5'7", but he was strong. And he worked on cars. He worked for John Manville, which was not a clothing industry in New Jersey, but it was a textile. So they made a lot of different things as a textile company. They probably have made rugs, big rugs for industries and all kind of things. And that's where he worked. And he had worked there, I think, by the time I got there, he was almost ready to retire. I believe he had had 25 or 30 years in by the time I started staying with him for about 10 months from the summer of July the 1st is when I got there to him, roughly July the 1st, I believe, or the end of June. And I stayed with him all the way for about 10 months in New Jersey, and that was in 1974. So he loved cooking. All of my mother's brothers loved to cook. That was their thing. And what he enjoyed doing was he enjoyed entertaining people. And that was his thing, out there entertaining folks. And in the process, he would have friends always cooking for some of his army buddies, or people that were from the same background that he was from. He was from Thomasville, Georgia, like my mom, all of them. They were next door neighbors to my dad's um, people. And so they had farmland. And my father's side, they were the collard green folks. My mother's side, they had now don't they had the chickens and the cows and the pigs, only a few, but what they had was sugar cane. And I remember as a little boy going to my grandparents' house, and you'd go up this road and then would veer off, and then you see the houses, right? And it was it was unbelievable because their property was, I think, was more than 2 or 3, 4 acres of land, had to be, because you'd pull off their road and where their mailbox was, you had to go up the road a little bit and then get mail, right? And and often they had the little stands out where they sold their tomatoes and greens and eggs and whatever else they sold. But their big thing was sugar cane. And I remember getting into the front yard. I thought it was bamboo. I didn't know. I said, "Mommy, why does Grandpa and Grandma got bamboo?" And she said, "No, that's sugar cane, honey." I said, "Sugar cane? They would make their sugar, their sweet stuff, out of that, and it was in everything." So here, having this consciousness of the South, and being there maybe a few times in my lifetime, my Uncle Ansel, he had a vibrant personality, and all my mother's brothers could cook. Their sisters could cook out of this world. The brothers could cook out of this world. So I guess that was the parents say, if you can cook for yourself, you can cook for others. So here, my Uncle Ansel was in Plainfield, South Plainfield, New Jersey, and every Saturday, people would come over to his house and he'd be cooking. And I remember telling him, I says, you spend a lot of time preparing breakfast, and these guys aren't contributing anything. You're getting the orange juice, you're getting the milk, you get the coffee, and you brew the coffee up from scratch, literally. And then you're making the homemade orange juice, and you're making the butter rolls, and you're doing whatever you do. Sell it, let them pay something. And so I said, what's $3? They can have a small plate for $3, dessert. And after a while, he started, doing it. They didn't like doing it, but as long as I was there, they were doing it. I guess he might have given them the money back, but at least they can realize he's doing all the cooking. What were they doing but getting there and eating? So I remember him going to what was called a farmer's market. And this is one of these big indoor places, like a huge warehouse, and every kind of vendor was in there with their lights behind them, iridescent lights. You had somebody doing vegetables and fruits, and some things in particular, just fruits or just vegetables or a certain kind of vegetables that people enjoyed. Someone had, of course, the meats and all that stuff, and the fish and the shellfish, and he was in there getting all of this stuff. But I remember when he parked his car, and he liked to say deuce of the quarter. He had an Oldsmobile 225. He called it deuce of the quarter. We pull up, and there was always this Italian fellow, nice elder guy, had a stack of books on tables. I think there was about maybe 10 6-foot tables. So he had it like in a little C-shaped pattern, and he and his wife there, or he and his son, and he had a slew of books. But what was interesting, he'd have some historical books, some uh, autobiographies and biographies there. But what he also had at the same time, he also had some metaphysical and spiritual books there. And since I was in college, I was already being entertained for 4 years, can acquire from actually 3 years being in the college bookstore, used bookstore on Saturdays. I was acquiring books that graduates would, alumni would bring back, and I would buy these books for 25 books, 25 cents, $10, 10 cents, 25 cents, 15, maybe a buck. But there was books by Alan Watts called "What Is This?" He was like a big writer back then. I had some of the Carlos Castaneda books I was buying back then, just literally off the shelves. So I was getting bathing myself in all of these books that were of great interest. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, but I was drawn to these old books. So eventually, what happened was I realized I needed something like a hobby. So I decided while I was talking to him, he said, "Well, do you like astrology?" I said, "Yeah, I kind of like astrology." But it was an old unabridged astrological dictionary. It had some, ideas how to do charts. It had some ideas how to also maybe construct a chart, but it was a little over my head because I had no idea how to do the calculations, and it was saying I needed the affirmaces. I didn't have that. All I had was the Farmer's Almanac. And I used to get those all the time. Every time I saw one, I would like snatch it up. The Farmer's Almanac. So to make a long story short, I took the astrological book home. Must have been about this big, like a big unabridged dictionary, almost about 8 or 9 inches deep. And so I started to delve into it. And a lot of it made sense, and a lot of it didn't make sense. So I said, okay, it seems to be talking about a certain group of people, but not everybody. But that's okay, because it had to give me, had to have something to work with. So at some point, I began to jump in to it, and I decided, well, I need to take the book back. So I took the book back, and I said, he convinced me to turn it over to him and exchange it. But then I said, you know what? Maybe I should keep the bag. I had it in like a little carry bag for books. I said, you know what? I'll keep it anyway. Maybe I'll run into someone who's into astrology. Let me find something else. And at that time, I found two books. One book was is a numerology book by this guy by the name of Kevin Q. Avery. Q was for Quinn. Kevin Quinn Avery. And I was looking at the book, right? And I'm saying it was, I think it had like a pink cover with his name up there, and it had to do with like the hidden meaning of numbers, something like that. So I snatched that. Why? Because it was only $1. It was a paperback book, but it was a thick paperback book of about maybe 500 pages, maybe 300 pages. So then I saw another book that struck my eye. It had a pentagram on it with numbers, a white book with a black pentagram and numbers in red from 1 to 9. And so when I started, looking at it, I said, this is unique. It's talking about tarot in here and numbers and a few other things, compound numbers. So I said, well, I opened up the Ken Avery book and I read about myself. Like I'm born within my name, or came out to 3, or I'm born in the third month. And I read it. And I said, that made sense. But I picked up Kiro's book and read about the number 16. I said, that is on point. So I started looking at other things in the book. And at that point, I think that book couldn't have been no more than 50 cents to 75 cents. So I said, okay, I'm going to want these two books. So apparently he had a whole bunch of books that he was trying to get rid of. And he said, why don't you take some more? So I had a book on philosophy. I had a book on something else. At that time, the book dealt with, let's talk about the third eye. I forget the author's name, but I had that book. And it just went on and on and on. I started accumulating. So every time my uncle would go to this flea market, he knew where I was going. I was going to the old book section to try to acquire as many books because I wanted to fulfill this hobby with numerology, and understand chakras and things of that nature. So, as I began to do this, I began to get intrigued by what I was seeing and feeling and understanding. And as I began to delve into this, I started to realize this could be the hobby I'm looking for. I had no idea that my higher self was talking to me and say it could be more than a hobby. It might be something that you could do to help yourself and help other people. So that's how I started. 1974, summer 1974. I'm reading books on numerology. And these books were big enough, especially the Kiro book, I could shove it in my pocket. I worked as a janitor at a depilatory place, and I would shove that book in there, and I was walking around studying that book. And as years went on, I went from that job to electronics warehouse, and now in my little, I didn't have a desk. I had a little thing where I could put something there, and I started reading the book during lunchtime because I could bring my lunch back into that section where I worked, the receiving section, my coffee, my sandwich. I could sit there and eat. They didn't mind as long as you kept it clean. And I would read my book. And I started to read more and more. And as time went on, I started really digging it. I started really finding out that, hey, this is something that I could do. and I began to delve into it so much that I think I was almost memorizing the things that Kevin Avery said about the numbers. And I started to memorize what was in the Kiro's Book of Numbers. The Kiro's Book of Numbers was using the Chaldean or Chaldean system. And I really fell in love with it. And I realized there were certain names that added to eight, and then the birthday number of the person was an eight. And I said, oh, I found that quite intriguing. So I kept on studying, and that was 1974 going up to 1978, summer of 78. Prior to that, 1977, my older brother, who was into numerology and palmistry and tarot as well, we would go up to the old Tree of Life bookstore up in Harlem on 125th and Lenox Avenue. And that was known in those days as the UCLA of Harlem. Why? Because every kind of celebrity that was into the metaphysical, the spiritual, the occult, health, they were in there teaching. They would come through and lecture. And they didn't charge much. It's like $3, $4 or $5 to give a lecture on any given weeknight, summer night, weekend, and talk, right? I met the late hobo herbologist there, Dr. Moore. We used to call him Doc. He wasn't no doctor, but he was a master in herbology, and he can make up salves and potions. He could heal bee stings, and this guy was phenomenal, phenomenal man. And so it got to be where this was an opportunity to really learn what this was all about. And I realized, hey, I need to get this information. Eventually, I said to John Moore, the hobo herbologist and the store owner, who was Kanya Kakumba, that was the name that he gave himself. And I said, hey, I'm looking for a numerology buddy. I've been studying numerology since 1974. So here we are 4 years in, right? And they said, look at that flyer. There's a flyer there, and there's a brother by the name of Lloyd Strayhorn. And when I saw Lloyd's flyer, he had a big seven sitting in the middle of this page, a bluish purple page. I said, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna get up some nerve and I'm gonna call this guy. Finally called him. We linked up. I took 4 Saturday classes, short term classes, 2 hours apiece with him. And I didn't know at that time, I didn't know anything about pinnacles and challenges. I didn't know about the 4 planes of expression. There was one or two other things I didn't know, but everything else I had. I knew how to construct a chart analysis on people's names, and I was handwriting charts. I was too slow to type, so I was handwriting out charts as legible as possible, and I was selling charts like that, $15 a piece or two for 37, just for my time. And I began to just keep doing it and doing it. So Lloyd gave me a test. And the test he gave me was to break down and analyze a name. Hey, how you doing? And to analyze the name of a person. But it was one of his clients, and he had 2 clients, 3 clients. Now we got a 2-hour class, right? And this is like the 3rd class. So we're going down and I'm nailing it. And I'm nailing it. I don't know who these people are, but yet I'm writing about these people. These were his clients. So as time went on, eventually he took me over to the owner, Kanya. He said, Kanya, come this summer 1979. I found the perfect person who's going to teach the beginner's class in numerology, and then I could teach the intermediate class level of numerology. And Kanye said, oh, this guy, what does he know? So Kanye gave me his name. I computed his name. He gave me his date of birth, which I don't even remember now. I did his date of birth. Dr. Moore gave me his name, his date of birth. Him I remember because he was January the 3rd. And I knew another person that was born January the 3rd. So I jumped all over the number. They went in the back room. They talked about it. They came back out and said, okay, come the summer, you be ready to teach. And man, I guess Lloyd went out and he kept telling people about me. And so Lloyd taught the intermediate class in numerology. He had the biggest class. Lloyd had something like 30 people packed in that room with him in the back. The late John Harris, Jon Harris, who was a excellent astrologer, and he did all kinds of astrology. Excuse me. He did all kinds of astrology, and here's my book again. He did all kinds of astrology charts and analysis. And so basically, he had the second largest class. And him and Lloyd were almost neck and neck. Lloyd, I know, had 30 people. John must have had at close, and he was teaching all the time. He was in there on weeknights, twice a week, and a weekend. So he had a lot of students. And so in that particular class, John Harris, he was doing beginners astrology, intermediate astrology. He was doing all kind of levels. And so, but when we would be in there, 1979, it turned out that John Harris had the second largest, and there was only a difference of 3 students between he and Lloyd. And I had about 20 students. And I was shocked that I had anybody. So they had been pushing the class. And that's how I got started in teaching numerology. And I started teaching numerology in different capacities, all up and around in Harlem at that point, because I met a woman that lived in the Gramercy Park area. She took a liking to what I was doing. She was a spiritualist, and she had me teaching at another section around town in Harlem. So here I had this opportunity to teach, like a Saturday morning numerology class. Then they had me go out to New Jersey to teach on Halsey Street in New Jersey for some Moorish Science Temple group out there. And that was a cool place because they sold, vegetarian and vegan meals like in the back. And then you'd walk up the steps to like a loft. And they had the doors, sliding doors open. You could see the people coming in the store. So they would tell me, oh, if you think it's too noisy, close the sliding door. I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it open. I want people to hear me up there. And that's what was happening. So it was 3 of us. This guy, Joseph Pollock, he taught astrology, and he was teaching the principles of yoga and Tai Chi, just the philosophy. And so we would be there, and we were only allowed to teach for about an hour. So we would teach back to back to back. And since I was driving back then I'd drive everybody back, Harlem to Brooklyn, and I go on home. And here we were teaching. So we were sharing this wisdom. And so I say that because Harlem was fertile ground. If you were going to teach, it was just like the showtime at the Apollo Theater. If you weren't good in amateur night, you got booed out. If you weren't a good, thorough teaching, articulate teacher and an animated teacher, you didn't get many students up at the Tree of Life bookstore because nobody believed that you knew what you knew. So I had to teach. And it was good because it forced me out of my little shell. I was so quiet. Here I was in my 20s and still shy, right? So it brought me out of the shyness. So this is why you see all this animated levels, talking with my hands, because I've been teaching a long time and I really am passionate. So when I wrote this book, I had been teaching numerology off and on since the early 80s. Once I got out of the Tree of Life bookstore, I started in 1979. I taught in 1980 there and 1981. Then it closed down. Then we went down to the other end, 125th Street, and because it was at the corner of Lenox, which was 6th Avenue. So we went down to 125th and Lenox, and the Tree of Life bookstore rented a place on the top one of the floors there at the Harlem State Office building. So we'll go down there and we started teaching. And back then we had to rent our little sections to keep it going. Then I found another location that was then called this other location was called the New Age, NU Age restaurant and bookshop place, a 3-story brownstone. And there was a guy by the name of Mustafa was the name he chose, but his name was Stanley. And he was good. He taught what he called African yoga, and he was very good at teaching people how to cook vegetarian meals. And this guy was so good. He would create these hot meals in a pot and everything, and then he would come up and put it like almost similar to a shopping cart but different. And he refashioned his shopping cart so he had an upper level and a lower level. And he'd be out on a street corner right in front of his place preparing food while he had his fiance. You could come down off the street into the actual restaurant. So they had people there preparing meals, and he would go out in the middle of the night and prepare meals. But what we found out what he was doing, which was a good thing for him, he was going to wherever he saw homeless people at, and he would prepare the meals for the homeless so that they would have something to eat. And he would make fresh currant juice, grape juice, apple juice, all these juices. And he would bottle these things, and he would then go out and give this food to the homeless. So we had no idea until we saw him one night at 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Hey, Mustafa, where you coming from?" He said, "Man, I just unloaded the rest of my food to all the homeless people back here." So he was always doing that, his heart going out to the homeless. So I was teaching. Then I found places on Long Island to teach. Then I was invited into New Jersey to teach. And it kept growing. I was teaching all kind of classes on a Saturday. Every Saturday, I had some kind of class going on, a two-parter or three-part class going on, maybe four parts for an entire month, where I taught numerology, dream analysis, how to scan and read auras, how to do crystal layouts. I was doing these things because I love to do it, but now I'm getting paid to do it. And it's just time and energy, just doing more. So tonight, I want to talk about this book. I'm going to pick out a few chapters I might read from or talk from. Whoever is on, if you would like me to take a look at your birthday number, and we might make sure give myself some things here to write with. You might want to know something about your birthday number, your destiny number, your angle of destiny. All these things I have in the book, but maybe you want to find out a little bit more. So I want to help you understand that. And if you would like to, all you got to do is give me your destiny number. It could be just a single digit, or you can give me your birthday number, and I could start to give you some information. This book, you can purchase my book. Find my writing pens. You could purchase my book at Amazon. And if you go into the description section, you will see the link, the direct link that will take you so that you could purchase the book or you can read a little bit more about the book tonight. And that will help give you some insight. Always when you need pens, they're so deep, right? Woo. Okay. Now that I got myself kind of motion here and ready to go. And for anybody, I had to correct the book several times, putting it on online. So if you are in here watching me right now, but if you want to come on, of course you have to step in so I can see you on here, and then I could give you the information that you are seeking. Okay, so one of the things I want to let you know that I've been a numerologist for 48 years. I've been playing around with numbers. Hey, Oracle, how you doing? How you doing? And um, I've been doing numerology since 1974. So that's a long time. When I was on Lloyd's show Lloyd said, we had, before we went live, we added up. Lloyd had been doing numerology and putting it together with astrology, because he was first an astrologer. Then he came into numerology, and he had been doing it 52 years. So his 52 to my 48 produced 100. That you got two people doing numbers that long. And it was fascinating. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Being on with him was my third time on live with Lloyd. And this was, of course, an excellent opportunity to be on with him and to share this information like this. So, what I'm going to do is start to come on more often. Now, I don't have a set schedule. I'm one of these OGs that goes by whatever spirit tells me to do. So if I was to say I'm going to come on every Sunday night, I can't promise you that. If I say I'm going to come on every Monday night, I can't promise you that. It's whenever the spirit moves me to go do it, then I do it. Like I went on Friday and I uploaded a pre-recorded session for my YouTube channel, Circle Grace One, talking about my book. Well, one of the things I want to reveal to you from this book, and I have a historical figure in here, and Lloyd was tapped me on the head. Don't give that away. So, if you want to know who that is, you'll definitely have to purchase the book to see who the person that I used in my numerology book. I've known that a lot of people will use 3 and 4 names of well-known people, but I wanted to devote it to one person. And by doing that, I was able to look at some historical things. And I didn't have a clue if any of the historical things were going to connect with this person. But when I took my time, and I like to use the Chaldean method of numerology, when I took my time, oh man, there was things that I saw. I said, yeah, this is definite. I definitely have to use this in my book. So at any point, if you want to throw out a birthday number for yourself, and the reason I'm doing this too is I know when I go on Lloyd's show, we only get like about an hour, really. We were going to try to do 90 minutes, but I don't think we did. I think we did as much as 75 minutes. But we're trying to bring out information about the book or my life's experiences so that all you can get it. So what I want to do is do come on my YouTube channel or come through Facebook Live. And I have a Lloyd uses StreamYard. I have this other one. I'm not sure if it's StreamYard, but I have another one that I come through, and then I could do simultaneously YouTube and whatever. So I just decided to just come on my channel here and talk. So, and I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. But one of the things is when you read my book, it's written in such a way so that you can kind of jump back and forth. Sort of like a Bible. A Bible, there's certain Bibles that people get if you're heavily into Christianity. There's a Bible, my mother was, but she was also a metaphysical person. My mother was a Rosicrucian and she studied Astara's material as well. The star is just like the Rosicrucians. I used to be in that and the Rosicrucians. I never went high in either one because I was so busy looking for other things that I didn't let myself really settle. And then I jumped into the Association for Research and Enlightenment, which was the Edgar Casey Institute. Here I'm involved in 3 different things, but not really settled. Then I was in the Moorish Science Temple, not really settled. Went a long way in that, but I needed something else. So I dropped out of that. And then I just started going deeper back into numerology and find out, hey, this is where I need to be right now. And then that brought me into the study of the tarot and colors and chakras and the kundalini. And, I was doing Tai Chi Chuan and I was just really immersing myself in things, and I immerse myself into meditation, Zen meditations, being invited to Buddhist temples and stuff just to be get this stuff saturated in my soul, so to speak. So yeah, 6/11, 1951. I got you. So I'm gonna put you down here, Sister Oracle T, and we're gonna look at your numbers because as I say, I don't want to let anything get past. This is a way to kind of have people whenever I come on randomly like this to have people come on and get this information. And you could, if there's a share button on your end, you can click share, click like, share it out, and click a notification button. So whenever I go on, I'm there. Hey, Will Talk Entertainment. Yeah, hey, one of my students from a long time ago, still with me. And so you can get a reading, okay? And it's just a quick analysis. But since I'm on my own time, I'm not on Lloyd's show, so I can spend a little bit more time explaining things. Not only am I going to be on here just doing numerology, but I'm going to be talking about other things like dreams, numbers as they come up in dreams, symbols as they come up in dreams. Might talk about out of body experiences. People call it astral travel. I call it soul traveling. So I'm going to go into things like that. I got something on the stove, folks. Hold on. This is how live this is, right? Be right back. All right. All right. There you go. Everything being served up in real time. I know I was doing some late night cooking, meatless meal tonight, which was good for me to do. And I just realized, did I cut off the pot of tea and my veggies? And then I just had to go back in my mind. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about not just numerology, whenever I can, some other topics. So we have Oracle T. You're born 6/11. Well, you're born on a master number. You got the master number 11. And what's so powerful about this master number 11 is this: it's called the dreamer, one who can see a dream, who gets a dream, who can interpret the dream. You're the dreamer, you're the seer, SEER. So that means there is a prophetic side of you that's in place that you were born with. But people who have the master numbers, birthday numbers as 11 and 22, or life path number 11, 22, 33, and they're higher numbers. It goes up to, I think, to about 44 or 55. And I've tried it in different configurations, and that's about as high as it gets for the moment until we get into this process of the 2000, millennium of the 2000. We probably will be seeing more higher vibrational master numbers. But the interesting thing is this: people who have the master numbers, I notice that they don't have an easygoing life. There's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of difficulties. Those of you, if you have the master number day of 11 and 22, or the master number or life path number 11, 22, or 33, you don't have it easy. And I've known people in my journey to try to give themselves a master number. In other words, they'll try to work it out so it comes out in the total expression of the first name, or the vowels called the soul urge, or the consonant, which is like the foundation, the structure of the name, or the sum total. And then often when they do that, these vibrations take about a year or two to catch up to you. And then all of a sudden, their life is haywire. Why? Because they try to put something into place that they have not yet mastered for themselves. So this is not an easy thing to do. It would be the same thing as, you know, those of us who were born in the 50s, like Oracle T, I know, remember when we got into that stretch where we were using African names, Arabic names, and we didn't quite understand the power behind the name, what the name meant, and what the energy that went with the name. So sometimes people were calling their children these very powerful names, but not all of their children were able to carry the name. And many of them wound up doing some things that were detrimental to themselves or their family members because they couldn't carry the power of the name. So it takes a while to carry the power of a number. And in my book, when you get toward the end of my book, it's either chapter, I think it's chapter 12, I say in there that all numbers, all birthday numbers from 1 to 31, all birthday numbers are master numbers. The single digits and a lot of the compound numbers, they are all master numbers. Why? Because we're the ones wearing the numbers. We're the ones that are giving the number the life that it has. We're the ones that are carrying out the vibration of the number. So when people think of the master numbers, they all often think rank. Think rank like in fraternal orders and sororities groups, right? When you hear the master number 22, people say that's the grand architect, that's the master builder. Those are Masonic terms. The different organizations, different people throughout the many years from the late 1800s going up into the early 1900s were using those terms. So I started looking at 22 as being the visionary. The number 11 is the dreamer, but the dreamer is the first one who gets the seed. See, the 22 as the visionary is going to carry out the seed on another level. So, Oracle, you got the number, the master number 11. That means the flip side of that 11 is 22, the upside, higher side. And then higher up, it's the 33, and it keeps getting higher. These are other numbers behind your master number 11. When we write the number, right, we write 1 and 1, 1 in the tens column and 1 in the units column. Hey there. Yes, I'm going to put everybody down here because I'm going to be talking about everybody. And we got Ms. Stephanie Infinite. Okay. Yes. And I'm going to get to you as well. What I'm going to talk about, as I mentioned to everyone else, we got Brendy here. And Brendy 1545. You are 31791. I'm going to talk about the birthday number, and I want to talk about your destiny number because that's very important. And I may also talk about your angle of destiny, which I have in my book. That's something I've worked on for many, many years, because people wanted to know, well, what's the difference and how do you use your birthday number, numerical day that you're born on? How do you use that in conjunction with your destiny number? So, Oracle, you got the master number 11. You're here to plant seeds and watch your seeds grow, the dreams, the ideas that you have. The 11, 1 and 1 together means you're a very independent thinker, original thinker. You're a leader, natural leader. You kind of know what it is that you want to do in life, and you will strive to do what you say that you're going to do. You're just not going to talk about it. You're going to go out and you're going to exercise it. See, that's the nature of who you are. Plus, you're born on the sign of Gemini, the twins, and you're born on the 11th, so you got twin ones at the same time. Now, I also speak about in my book, let's not look at the master numbers as a way of ranking, as a rank, because that 11 master number came out of the series of the two, right? 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 9 is 20, plus 9 is 29. So in the 29, that's another side of the 11. So the 11 means on top of the 2, you are one who dreams of the right relationship. 2 is the gift of partnership or relationship. So you're striving to have the best kind of relationship in your life, whether it's with a partner or with yourself in the universe. But you're going to strive to have the best kind of relationship. You know, communication is a part of that relationship. So you're going to be the master of communication in the relationship. You're going to always be very articulate. Okay. So that's important. Now that nature of 11, if we went to the tarot cards, that's the 11th tarot card. And that 11th tarot card is called Justice, which is representative of Libra. So that means you carry the scales of justice. You're a loyal person. Anybody who gets to know you knows that you're loyal. You're a woman of your word. You're transparent as much as you need to be. You deal with truth and honor. Okay, that's a part, that's who you are. Where what people used to say about Gemini. They say, oh, they flip flopping back and forth. You're not the kind of Gemini that flips back and forth. You're loyal to a T, literally. And so you're a very reliable person. Okay. That's very important. Now, that's your 11. What would be the downside of the 11? Well, look at the two ones. One deals with the eyes, right? So I would say, be careful with sinus congestion. 11 breaks down to the two. Be careful having foods that are too spicy or too fermented, because that can get into the stomach region. Okay. I'm not going to step on your toes anymore. Well, I'm a 16. And if you read my book, people say, woo, that's doom and gloom the way he started the 16 off. But that's what 16s deal with, a lot of heavy vibrations. People born on master numbers deal with a lot of heavy vibrations. So you already know, be careful with the kind of foods you eat, spices. You could drink, but don't overdo it. You could, if you like smoking, don't overdo that. It's all about balance. But it's one in one. So look at one as being masculine numbered, is in the tens column. So it's a stronger one, right? Because it's 10 plus one carried over, right? And that means that you're a genius. You have original thoughts. You could direct plays and movies and things of that nature. You could be a writer. You could be a teacher. So all these things could manifest and help out. Let's look at your life path number. So you're born in 1951, and I always say never leave out the 19. The 19 is the governor. So in 1900 to 1999, the 19 is the governor. 19 is like a solar energy. 1951, we see the 5 and 1 is 6, but the 19 produced the 10. So you got a 61, which is a 7, right? So that's what your year adds up. But we should do it the long way, and we'll see that it's 1968. And so 10, 78. So yeah, you have a 15-6 kind of life path and destiny number. So would you have the 15-6? Now 15 is like a Capricorn number, because the 15th major arcana card, they call it they call it the devil, but it's really not the devil. What it really is, it's being in touch and being very earthy. So you're very much in touch with life, but it's also a high achieving kind of number, the 15. 15 also means that sometimes you might change your mind. You might have a lot of different thoughts and ideas, and you're not sure as to which one to settle. So you might jump lanes. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, but if you had other people working with you, they would need to understand that about you, because you're just not jumping lanes to be jumping lanes, changing your mind to be changing your mind. You have a lot of creative thoughts going on all at the same time, and you're trying to weigh it out. You're trying to find out which one suits you the best. So that's your life path or your destiny number. So if I take that life path number and add it to the 15, it's a 26. If I add the 11 to the 6, I'm going to draw a little line forward single slash. That number is going to be a 17, and another forward single slash, that's going to be an 8. So your birth life path or destiny numbers are 15, which is a 6. 6 means you enjoy family members. You enjoy being a parent if you could. You enjoy being a teacher. You enjoy servicing family, community, siblings, relatives. You enjoy perhaps educational things. You have perhaps love the medical field, holistic field, legal field, or dealing with corporate law. You could deal with being like a sport agent. You could be an entertainment agent because that's all connected to the six, and six deals with justice. But here's another how it's tied to your astrological sign. The six major arcana card are called the twins. Twins is Gemini. That's the six, and you're born in the 6th month. So now, when we put all this together, how does this dreamer prophetic eye of the 11 connect with your life path number? Because I said it's about being a just individual, being a highly dependable person, right? And six is Venus that rules Libra and Taurus, and the 11th major arcana is Libra. So when we add these numbers, those two numbers together, 26 means you're emotionally sensitive, you're very creative, you enjoy being of service, but you enjoy transforming, like taking a partnership and taking it to a whole nother level, a higher level. Okay, because it's a 26, and 20 is transformation, not just plain six, not just a plain two. The 17 in the tarot is the star card or Aquarius. So this means that 11 master number connected to your life path destiny number has that 26 that says very creative, transformational personality, rebirthing, regenerating ideas in relationships and partnerships. But that 17, that number 17 means as your life transcends, people are going to remember who you are because you're always going to make an impact on the world that you live in. You're going to make an impact on family, friends, co-workers, community. That 17, which is an 8, also means that if you keep going in a direction that you're going with and building your life out in a very creative manner and becoming well known, you are going to go down in history as a very important person. People are always going to remember who you are long after you're gone. They're going to remember the impact that you make on their life. And 8 is only thing about this is you got to make sure you don't fall into the martyrdom system where people try to make you take on their aches and pains. People try to make you become the victim when they're already the victim about something. So you can't be the oppressor. But the 8 says you're going to master finances, you're going to master things that are material, you're going to master the physical body, you're going to master anything that's material and earthly. You always apply it to yourself first. So the 8 tells me you're going to be successful. And like if you listen to Lloyd, and what I've learned too, people born on have numbers 8s or 6s around them at some point in their life master money. At some point in their life, money comes. So let's take a look at Ms. Stephanie Infinite. Now, you're born on a 24. 24 is an administrator's number. 24 means you enjoy helping people. Now, Miss Stephanie Infinite, I just said with the 6s around. So check this out. I know a lot of people born in the year 1959, and not one of them people are ever without money. People born, no matter where it is in the calendar year of 1959, you figure out how to get money into your bank account, into your purse, into your pocket, and you don't lose track of money. I just noticed that the people born in the year 1959, they always are around money making ideas, people who make a lot of money, and they always acquire people as friends who make more money than they do because they're trying to capture the system of money, how to make money work. That's what people born in the year 1959. I've seen them from ministers to musicians to just, let's say, an average everyday person. I've seen people that, okay, worked in a cleaning business. And everybody thought, well, why would they want a job like a cleaning business? You come back 5 years later, that person's got a team of people working underneath them. And now they got contracts. They got people working in banks. They got people working in office buildings. They got people working from floor to floor to floor. Next thing you know, they got a team of people. Or people born in 1959, they're able to. You're an Aquarius 6, so you're a different kind of Aquarius 6 because you're a 24, and you're coming out of the month of of the Capricorn into that. So you have the. You look at the symbol. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but you look at the symbol for Aquarius. It's two like wavy lines. That's magnetism. Aquarius is like a water sign, a little bit of the water energy. So you're here to learn how to conduct the fluid of water with the fluid of air. That's how I kind of see it. So 24s are teachers and administrators. 24s also transform their lives and the people who are around them. Why? Because it's 20. When we say the number, we don't say 24, we say 24. So that means you're looking at the 20, which is reduced 2 plus 0 is 2, but the 0 impacted that number. So the 0 lifted that number up. The 0 in my book, I call it the I am that I am. So anybody that's born on the 10th, the 20th, and 30th, you have a very powerful birthday, and you should stay attuned to the higher sources. All right. So here you are, Miss Stephanie. You're born on a 24. That 4 in there means you got to be grounded. You got to become very organized. You have to like stitch the thoughts together, create building blocks. That's what you're here to do. That's what your gift is. You're creating a life for yourself. Now, you could work for somebody else and make them rich, but sooner or later, you're going to go, hey, if I'm successful at making Mr. and Mrs. So and so's business prosper, what does that say about me? What I just did for them, I could do for me as well on the side. I could pick a field of interest. One of the fields of interest that you could delve into, Miss Stephanie, you could work if you want to in the field of jewelry making, fashion, and design. Okay, jewelry making, fashion, and design. Hey, Tara, how you doing? You could do that. You can jump into that energy field, right, and make that work. You could design jewelry. You could design dresses, shoes, hats, accessories. But I also see an artist. For some reason, art is there. Why? Because the 2 plus 4 is 6. That's Venus. So you're able to build something from nothing, literally build something from nothing. That's you. Aquarians are good at that. Aquarians are considered the mavericks of the zodiac, the revolutionary thinkers. They think outside the box. So if you're working for a corporation, you sooner or later you're going to be vice president or president. Vice president of operations. You might be vice president or president above in what do they call it, human resources. You're always going to be working to the top where everybody else is. You're not going to stay at the bottom. That's not you by nature. You're always going to gravitate to the top, but you're always going to figure out what you can do for yourself. That's the nature of the 24. 24, no matter what sign it is, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, you're always going to do something for yourself. You're not going to be the one that's going to sit around and let somebody do something for you. Not too long. Okay. You're going to gravitate. You're going to move ahead. So when I put this 24 on top of 59, and this again is 1959, not just 59. Okay. And I got to add down here my buddy across town, south of me here, Tara Smith, your Sag. So you got to put yours down. We don't want to lose track. Okay, so Miss Stephanie, I'm going to add your numbers up vertically because this is the way to do it. And I see here that you got a destiny number that's a 22. Miss Cal, Sister Cal, she had, Aura Cal, she had the master number 11 birthday number. You have the destiny number 22. Okay, so here's what a destiny life path number 22 does. Not only are you seeing the dream, but you can kind of see how the dream should fall out. In other words, someone could tell you about a dream that they had last night, a dream that's on their mind and can't seem to figure it out. And all of a sudden, you find yourself inside the dream as if you're walking behind the person experiencing the dream, and you start to see where the dream makes its cuts and its turns. So you're able to then tell the person what that dream could mean for them. So I say that the 22 is a visionary. They see the dream and they see the vision that the dream is unfolding into. And then they go from there to carry it out. 22 strives to take the dream and put it on the earth. They try to make it practical. That's what a master number 22 is as a destiny number or life path number. Now, this doesn't, it means when you have the destiny or life path number, that's a master number. You're here to try to improve your life. But when you got master numbers as destiny numbers, you got to make sure that you don't fall into victimhood mentality or get caught up in those situations, relationships like that, where the person is trying to dominate you and make you feel bad about yourself. Because those numbers, you attract those kind of situations. You don't try to attract it. It's just that when you have a master number around, the master number wants to be in service, not just up here, but bring everybody up with them. So you're striving to make your world better. That's a 1984. Okay. Now I'll talk about it at a whole nother time about your destiny year. I'm not going to go into it tonight. That's a whole nother system of things that I've come up with. So we take that 22, which is a 4. So you're about building out your life so it's structured and it has balance because the nature 2 is there, right? It's 20, then 2. We don't say 2 2, we say 22. 20 means you want to transform your life. You want to give yourself a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance. You're here to regenerate or generate a new idea or turn it over like a farmer, keep tilling the soil. All right. It comes out of the series of the 4, which is 4, 13. Right. And you add 9 to 13, that's 22. You add 9 to that, which is 31. So the 22 is the third tier of the 4. Okay, the third level of 4. So that means you're here to crystallize an idea, to crystallize a plan. If we add this number to the 24, we're going to get 46, which then produces a 10, which is a 1. So what does that mean? The angle of destiny for you, Miss Stephanie, is work on yourself while you're trying to manifest the dream, while you're being administrating administrator, delegating ideas. In the process of delegating, being a leader, you have to work on yourself. You got to get clear about what you want. You got to like rework your philosophy about family. That's what the 46 is. 40 is purification, being in the womb, birthing something new. 6 is family. So you've got to restructure your thought, your philosophy on life and family, and how you're going to like take that further if you have a family. That's what you need to pay attention to. That's going to be very important. And also at another time, I'll show you how these numbers might balance each other or not. It doesn't mean that we're crazy. It just means we have numbers that are in competition or conflicting with each other within ourselves. And this is why we sometimes we don't know which direction to go in because things seem to be on top of us too much. Let's look at Brendy here. Brendy looks familiar. She knows why I say that. So Brendy's born on the 17th of March. She's Pisces. Now, if you were listening earlier, I mentioned to Oracle, who had the angle of destiny was 26 slash 17 slash 8. 17 means you will be well known by what you know. So the more that you can study, the more that you can acquire. If you go out, you're welcome, Miss Stephanie. If you go out to become a teacher, you become an excellent teacher. You take that next step. So if you had a license, maybe to teach at a basic educational level, you would go beyond that to get a doctorate. You would go into psychology and things of that nature because the psychology part is in the 7 within the 17. So you are striving Brendy, to turn events around. That's what you're striving to do, to turn the events around into your life so they become prosperous. So you have abundance, prosperity, good health, favorites in your life, favoritism in your life. That's what people like to say. I feel favored and highly blessed. Well, you could be one of those people who can feel that every moment of your life, that can take on the challenges in every moment of your life and turn it around and turn it into something better, not just for yourself, but your entire family. The 17, that's the prayerful kind of number. 17 is an Aquarius number in the Tarot. It's called the star card. It has the star, and what's behind the star? It has like a comet rolling through. Or on the Weight Rider deck, it has 6 star. It has the 8-pointed star, they call it. 8 stars blinking, four here, and one in the middle. So that's a card of peace and harmony. But it's peace, love, and harmony. It's the principles of peace, love, and harmony, unconditional love that you're able to give to yourself and you're able to pass on to other people. I see another person has joined on here. And again, I don't know how long I'm going to be on. I'll figure it out for you. I'm just going to put you down. I'm right now working with Brendy, and then I have Tara, and then I have you. And let me put your name here so I don't forget. Spiritware. Okay. Paquette. All right. I'll get to you in a second. I'm trying to be a little bit more thorough. When I was on Lloyd's show, we only got 60 minutes and we're talking about a lot of things. And then we do a few readings. So I want to give a little bit more time. And when I'm going to do this, I don't know how, if I'm going to do it every Sunday night, every Monday night, every Tuesday night, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to come on so people can get the information. And this way, when you see me on Lloyd's show, you will have some information in advance about yourself. So, Brendy, who I know, Brendy's a nice person. Brendy, you're this Pisces person, okay? And as a Pisces person, Pisces are always known as, when I was growing up, the dustbin or the zodiac, they would call it. They would think you're not getting anywhere because everybody walks on you. Not on a set, might happen to a 16, like myself a little bit. When you start getting to the 17, the little higher number, that ain't possible. What happens is you step it into warriorhood. You're stepping into a person's field where their energy is vibrant and higher. So when you're a Pisces 17, that's the St. Patrick's Day. But here's the other side of it. You are seeing life in the way that it unfolds, and you see it in the way that it should be. Now, it may not always work out that way, but you're striving to make it go in that direction. That's why you chose the 17th day of March in 1981 to come into. So, and 17 is an 8. So now here's something. I have something that I keep in mind. The Soul Trilogy, Old Soul Personalities, are birth date numbers, that calendar date numbers that add to 4, 7, and 8. These are the Old Soul numbers. This also brings in Aquarians by their sign and Capricorn by their sign. Old Souls, people born in those winter time frames, those last 3 signs, a lot of them people in there are very old soul kind of personalities. They've been around the horn before. They've been around the zodiac wheel before. They kind of know more than what we might say the average everyday person. They don't talk as much, but they absorb. So 17 Pisces here is absorbs things. You feel things on a very deep level, and you strive to give that information out toward people. Your destiny number, Miss Stephanie, your destiny number adds to 4, not your birth date. You're born on the 24th, but when I add all those digits up together vertically, it produces a 22/4. So here, Brendy, you got this 17. You got the 10 in there, and you got the 7. That produces the 17, then produces the 8. So you got the old soul number, so you might, yes. So you might work around with finances and things of that nature. You could work in the medical fields. You could work in the banking industry. You could work in the real estate industry, and you would excel. You could work as a contractor. You might acquire enough money where you learn how to flip buildings and homes. That would be good for you. You might do interior decorating and design. By the way, number sixes and number eights do that well. They like anything that has an artistic flair. Eight loves memorabilia. Eight loves antique items, so you could become an appraiser. A 17, you might consider that if you can have some time, go become an appraiser. Then you could make money through banks where they send you out the property and you appraise the property, appraise the neighborhood and the property, and you can get pick up some extra change that way. Or you might be the person that could go, let's say Antique Roadshow, you pick up something. Now you know what the quality of a period piece of furniture or an instrument or a painting. You could go a whole different direction because you understand antiques and how those things come into play. Well, also with that eight is Capricorn that rules the joints in the knees. So you got to be very careful, Brandy, with your knees, ankles, and shoulders and your wrists. So you got to be careful. You might like dressing up in nice shoes and things, but make sure the shoes are comfortable. Make sure you got good balance, okay? Because you could be messing with the ankles and the knees with a sprained ankle or knee. Okay, now if we take your numbers and add it up together, we get the year 2001. So I want to always, when you're doing numerology, as fast as you can add up something, you still got to take your time and do it like this. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10. That's 0. Carry the 1. 20. Make sure you got it. Now you add the numbers across. You get a 21, which is also a 3. And I'm going to add this out further. 28, 10, 1. So your angle of destiny, Brendy, is going to be the number one backed by 28 and 10, but your life path number or destiny numbers are 21, which is a 3. 21 means use all the wisdom that you acquire, but do it in a creative way. 21 is wisdom, understanding the universe or your world. 3 is creativity, finding the way to bring it all together in a creative fashion. You might be a writer, who knows? You might go into acting or film and stage. You might work with photography equipment. You might do fashion photography. You might do landscape photography. You might be a chef. You might get into that just to see what it's like, to see what you could bring out of yourself. Now we take that 3 and you add that to that 8. That's 17, 8. So if I look at it with the 21 to the 17, you get to 28. 28 tells me to tell you this. No matter what friendships you have, marital situations you have to figure out who can be trusted and who cannot be trusted. That's the number 28. 28 means not that you're not a trustworthy person. You are. You just have to watch out who you can trust around you. In other words, who will have your back and who will go against you. Then you have the number 10. You're an innovative thinker. You're a leader in your own right. So you're not a follower, you are a leader. You're an independent thinking person. And you always strive to do better. You don't believe in putting yourself on a pedestal. You don't put other people on a pedestal. Then it adds to a number 1, which means to develop a healthy ego. That's what you want to do. Develop a healthy ego. So to make your 17 work, to make your prayers come to fruition, and put yourself in a position where eventually everybody will want to, if you were selling something, everybody's going to want what you have. But the 21 says use the wisdom you keep acquiring. You're a very wise person. So before you make a decision, you're going on capitalizing on your wisdom. Then you're going to be creative with that wisdom. And then you're going to put it with what you already do. But it says have a healthy attitude, a healthy ego, a healthy outlook. Now we're going to go to Tara Smith. Tara, this is very important. You notice your Sagittarian 4, and your first name has 4 letters. Just want to bring that out to you. Your first name has 4 letters. So and you're born in 1970. Let me go back. Yes, 1970, and that year in itself is a 8. Make sure. Yes, that's going to add to an 8. But you're born on the 4. Now, 4 means you're pretty much practical, down to earth. But you can be a risk taker. You're welcome, Brendy. You could be a risk taker at the same time, Tara. Four says you see it as you see it. You believe what you see, but you're gonna make a change anyway. Because 4 is the maverick in society. 4 says, "Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Okay, we got to go out here and we got to sell all these cars in the parking lot. How am I going to sell all these cars if they all look alike? I'm going to sell 1,000 white cars or 1,000 gray cars. But knowing you'll go out there and see what's different. So when you're selling the car to each person's going to get a capsulated view of a white Buick, let's say a white Jetta. And they say, what's the difference? It's white and it's a Jetta. But you're going to apply that car to that person. You're going to find out what makes them think. Do they like the color white? How they can spruce up the inside so they're just not looking at a bland colored white. You might tell them to do something else with the interior, put a little touch of themselves in that vehicle. Now the person's going to look at that white car differently because why you got them focused on what's on the inside. That's fabulous. Whether it's camel brown interior color or black or blue or green, you're telling them there's different things you can do on the inside to make it more to their liking. So it's just not a white car. There's something else going on with that car. You're going to bring out all the other details of that car. So I'm saying that to say this. You're a Sagittarian 4. Sagittarians are mutable signs like Pisces, like Virgo, and Gemini. Those 4 signs are the mutable signs. They say that Sagittarius represents the higher mind, and its opposite, which is Gemini, is the higher mind on Earth. So you are striving, you have these high ideals that you're trying to put in motion. Okay. You're trying to bring everything together. Okay. You want everybody to understand what they need to understand. But what you need to understand is not everybody understands. Why? Because your mind is working up here. Not everybody is up here with you at the same time, right? You got a high ideal, but sometimes you got to drop this thing down to earth so people can understand it. But do they understand it? The reason why they won't understand it is not because of you. They're not going to understand it because they're looking for a shortcut. You can give them the shortcut, but you have to tell them, I didn't get this on no shortcut. I got bruises, I got scratches, I got scars to prove I didn't get this on no shortcut. I had to dodge the bull and ride the bull at the same time until that bull got tired of me riding it. And the bull said, "Here, take the rein and walk me where you need to walk me to. Then I ain't fighting with you no more." Sagittarius is the centaur, half horse, half person. What does the centaur do? The centaur always has a target to aim at. Sagittarius always has a target to aim at. You're born on the 4th. You have to create a target that's foundational, that has basic principles. Then people will understand. If you give them something up here, even though they want something up here off the top shelf, you got to tell them why it's up there on the top shelf. You direct them down on the middle. They say, "Well, I don't want that," but you're missing the point. I'm putting you down here because this matches where you're at right now. Devour this thoroughly, then you can go for that. So 4 brings out what's practical and what's impractical. 4 is an explorer, a trailblazer. I used to always teach it in numerology. If you want to get a yes out of a 4 person, Present your thing as a no. If you want to get a no, present it as a yes. Then you might get the no. Fours are the geniuses. From 1 to 9, four is the genius. Four can work out of chaos, total chaos, and find some sense of rhythm there. Four will do that. Four will say, "Okay, I know it's crazy. I know it's snowing outside here. I know it's hot as heck in my place. I can't control the heat. I can't step out to the cold because I'll freeze. And then here I'm sweating to death, so to speak. But I'm gonna find a common ground. So what does four do? Open the door. Four says, I don't have to let all the heat out. I just need to crack the door enough so I can get comfortable. And now I'll open it. Yeah, I might be using more heat, but I'm making the house cool enough so that when I close the door, I can rest within the heat, right? Because I've created this balance for myself. That's what you do. Hey, if you come from old schools of the cities, like a lot of my friends did growing up, when they had the heat blasted, the kid in the back room would have a miniature fan blowing because they couldn't control the heat, so they put a fan in there. Okay, they used a little bit more electricity, but that kid was living comfortable then, right? Or they cracked the window just a tad, just to get enough air in so they're not sweltering, and then close it shut because you're going to wake up in the morning, it's going to be colder. So, four has a way of dealing with ingenuity. Fours are the thinkers. Fours, yeah, four will find a way to make something make sense. It may not make sense to someone else, but it's going to make sense because you're the four. Four says, I'm going to look at the basic characteristics: who I am, what I am, where I came from, where I'm going. And the fifth element is, how am I going to get there? That's what four is going to do, which is similar to what five does. Five people do the same thing. I know what I want, I know where I'm going, I know how I got to get there. The when and the where factor will come into play sooner or later. Fours do the same exact thing. Fours are builders. They're going to build, 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 but they're not going to just continuously stay on point and build, because if something's not working out, they will sooner or later discard it. That's the nature of four. Four, we consider the geniuses because they're going to look at something and go, I can do that, but I can do it better. I can do this, but I'm going to change that. No, you're not late at all. Nobody's late. I'm just going to stay on and try to do as many I do until my throat cuts out. And I'm going to come on here sometimes at random because I do what spirit, my higher self tells me, my ancestors, my mother, grandmother might say, you got to go on live. And then they tell me where to go on live. That's how I'm doing this numerology stuff. And a lot of this stuff I'm talking about is why I got this book. Little commercial break. You can get this book on Amazon.com. It's in the description. If you go look at the description of this presentation, you'll see the link, and you can click on the link. And if you're ready, you can put it in your wish list, or you could buy it right away. Either way, it's sitting there. And I must tell you, I had a lot of mistakes when I put it up the first time in June. I didn't catch all the mistakes that I had made, but I was trying to get it in before all of these configurations were coming up that I was totally unaware of. But I got them all up there, and the book is clean as a whistle long before I got on Lloyd's show. So you can go on Amazon and you can get the book. And I use a historical figure in there, which I'm not going to mention, but when you get the book, you'll see why. But it helps you understand. This book is sort of like a Bible concordance, where you can look at the birth date numbers, you can look at the destiny numbers, and you can see what kind of things that, and I'm going to read what kind of gemstones that I chose intuitively to go with the birthday numbers 1 to 9. So if you have a compound birthday number, you just break it down to the single digit. So Tara, you got this four. So the four says, you got to deal with chaotic situations sometimes. You can't afford to let people destroy your life and make it out of balance. Okay. That's important. So now let's pull this together. Let's add all of these digits up and see what we come up. And I said, as a numerologist, as fast as you want to go through your mind, okay, as fast as you want to jump on this in your mind, As a numerologist, you're like a human computer, a human adding machine. So you must go 12 over 4 over 1970. Never drop out the governor, which is the 19, or you get a completely different reading. So 2 plus 4 is 6 with the 0. 1 plus 7 is 8. Then you got 1986. So someone back here, the first person, Oracle T, her numbers added to 1968, and you have the flip of that, which is 1986. So 86 is the 14 plus 19 is 10. So your number down here produces a 24, which is a 6. That's your destiny number. So what does that mean for you, Tara? You're in business. 24 means you have to learn to delegate things out to people, not to try to do everything yourself, or you become what? Overwhelmed and burnt out. So if you got people to help you out, delegate some of that to them. Like maybe send somebody to the post office for you to get stamps. Or if you can trust them to leave them in the shop, then you go get the stamps. 24 means if I'm going to administer something out, I have to make sure that I can do it. So you might have someone come in there and clean up just while you're doing everything. Maybe they clean, they sweep, they carpet, they do whatever while you're doing the other things. Why? Because it's 24, you might be talented to do everything, but you don't need to do everything. You need help. You need to delegate and get help. By doing that, yeah, you need to do that or you're going to be burnt out. Then your shop is going to be closed up. You say, I don't feel like dealing with nobody today. All you people go someplace and say, but we need a crystal, we need a candle. I come back tomorrow. And if they keep bugging you during the day, you might go, I said come back tomorrow. And people say, why is she so cranky? Because you try to do everything. So you got this 24/6. Now that's your destiny number. The 24/6 means you came to do a lot of work. Now, check this out. Just like Brendy had that 28-10-1, you got the same thing as an angle of destiny. If I add that 4 to the 24/6, you're gonna get a 28, and 4 plus 6 is 10. You're going to have that, which is a 1. So, see, I said taking care of the self. 28 means it's not that you don't trust anybody, you have to trust yourself. 10 means you're creating new ideas and you're going to get recognized from these new ideas that you're going to put out there. And 10 means you're going to take care of yourself with the 1. It goes into 1. So you're here to take care of yourself first. You're doing business. One's a business. Four's a business. Seven can do business. Two can do business. All the numbers can do business, but specific numbers must take care of themselves. The 4 belongs to the Old Soul Trilogy. Any birthday number that adds calendar day, that adds the 4, 7, and 8, it means you got a lot of wisdom to work with. Now, people might say, "Oh, that's not true. You've been on the planet." Many people, yeah, many people been on the planet, but we're in a state of amnesia when we come in here, right? We don't remember that we're a master. We don't remember that we're from planet Zenith in the seventh dimensions of time in the 13th quadrant. We don't remember any of that stuff. We come here trying to figure it all out all over again while we're learning how to function on Earth. That's what we're learning all the time. While you're here, click like, click subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell so that whenever I come on, ding, you can come on with me. Okay. If you really like it, click really say that you do. I don't want to handcuff anybody that says you must say that you like it because I'm looking for favorites or numbers. Yeah, I would like to have 2.7 followers. Maybe I will one day. Maybe this book will do it because it's coming out in this new galactic cosmic year. It's in the Lion's Gate at the same time, and I understand Jupiter's in Aries retrograding, and I was born with Jupiter in Aries, so I'm meant to do this, meant to be out here tonight. So you got that 28. Work on the trust factor. Meaning if someone approaches you, Tara, for business, this is gonna be very important. Someone approaches you for business. to collaborate with them in business. You got to make sure they got a good track record. A fairly good track record financially will help you. Okay, a fairly good track record is essential. That's to your well being. You got to make sure that you have trustworthy partners, whether it's marital, romantic, business, alliances, friendships, corporate kind of things. You got to make sure people got your back. You got to make sure you can trust them. So that's important because usually the 28 means you're going to run into some rough waters. So you got to like really pay attention. So now let me jump over here to Spirit Wear Paquette. Now, it's interesting. You got that 28th number as a birthday number. You have that. You're born in the fourth month. I just talked about the four a little bit. And you're born in 1957 by itself. That's a 22 4 master number year. But let's see what it all adds up to. And we're going to delve on top of your 28. See, because you have that 28. You're welcome, Tara. You have that 28. So when I see it as a birthday number, it takes on a whole new twinge. So now I should have did this for everybody, but so we can stick this out here, I'm gonna read what I wrote about the 28 birthday number in my book. See if this applies to you. And this is in my book, so when you all get the book, you see it's right there. I just need to pull it out. Spirit, my ancestors say to do this for spirit wear. Birthday number 28. Sometimes you have a hard time trusting others, which includes close friends and family members. You do your best to give people more than one opportunity to make corrections when in partnership with you. You strive to hold yourself accountable for your decisions and actions. You love to handle your responsibilities and are excellent in solving problems. Logical thinker, methodical planner, you make the perfect strategist in competitive sports. In other words, you'd be an excellent sports coach. You could survey the team, whether it's baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, track. You're going to be the one that's sitting outside with the binoculars checking out the track people, checking out the football team, and then come back and say, look, they got some bad blockers. They will cut block, they will chop block, they will blind block. So you all got to be ready. See, now here's something else it says. If you own a business, then you see a larger vision than most do. In the field of business, you help the employer beat the competition with good high volume sales. You can teach others with ease, and often this places you in position for many promotions. Now, that's just a part of it. But one of the things you want to overcome is watch out for petty arguments. You got that 8, that's a Saturn number in numerology. But you got that 20, which is a Pluterian effect. And the Pluto in the 28 means for you, people born from a calendar day 20 all the way up to 29, they're here to make changes on the planet. Either changes in their family, changes in their partnerships, changes in their homes, changes with their friends. So they're here to make everything work better. But when you have the 28, your employer, your partner, your neighbors, sometimes they can be against you. So you can't share everything with everybody. You get excited because you come up with some ideas and you want to offer it, but sometimes you can't give them everything. I'm quite sure you've heard of that phrase. If you give everything to somebody, they're not going to appreciate it. If you give away all your talents and your skills, you only do that when you're comfortable and you've made what you need to make. Then you can say, okay, I'm going to come out tonight. I had a good 6 months, a good 3 months. I'm going to just, for one night, I'm going to play at this show and it's a free concert. And they can say, well, I'll give you some. I said, well, if you want to, you can. But I want to play for free and I'm going to do it. Boom. And you out there performing for free. And someone was sitting at the door and said, hey, man, lady, you performing for free, but I got to give you this. And then they turn over and you done made $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 in donations because you just want to do it for free. That's the universe taking care of you. The universe said, let her do it for free. We're going to bring some people that are going to pay her something anyway. So that 28 means you have a good heart, you're here to help others, you're here to be in service, but don't become the victim for others. Transform that state of mind. That's your birthday. Now, when he add these numbers up, your life path or destiny number computes all the way out to a 27, which is a 9. That's very powerful. 27, which is a 9. And then when I add your 27 to your 28, ooh, you get a master number 55 up in there. And then ooh, you got a lot of powerful numbers. Not only you got the 28 birthday comes up, but you have the 37, which is sort of like a commander. That's interesting, very powerful. So here's your what your destiny number says. Um, Spirit, where your destiny number says it's a 27, which is a 9. One time, a guy in Harlem back in the 80s, because I have that 27-9 too, he said, think of the 27-9 like three pyramids or three interlocking triangles. Each triangle means there's an effect that takes place. So you working in the spirit of who you are, you working in the mind and the water element of who you are, and then you working on earth. So you're here to perfect something. But what are you here to perfect? To some degree, your own life and yourself. But this is what I heard about perfection. Perfection can drive you into the ground where there's anxiety and stress. So the best that I can tell you when you have a 27-9 destiny number is just to show up and be present. Give yourself the room. Yes, it's the Trinity. Give yourself the room to expand, to rest, to study. Give yourself the room to socialize, to study in socialization, how you get along with other people. Give yourself an opportunity to be competitive where you need to be competitive. Give your body exercise, give your body rest, give your body proper nutrition. It's all about balance because the nature of that 9 is fire. 28 reduces to a 10, which is a 1. 10 is a Jupiter, 1 is a sun. So you got a lot of fire here. Then you're in Taurus. You just squeezed into the sign of Taurus by about 8 days. Okay, 7 to 8 days. So you've got to find a way to make yourself fit comfortably into the puzzle of life itself. And take the puzzle pieces, take your time and create an order for yourself. Maybe be creative where you need to be creative. You can't afford to, the old phrases the elders would say, you can't afford to cut your nose to spite your face, whatever those phrases that they use. In other words, you can't afford to burn bridges. If you get into a situation with somebody, you got to let that person burn the bridge, not you. Because why? You may have to cross that bridge. But if they burn the bridge, you'll always find another way to get where you have to go. So if you get into some deep, long argument with somebody, you may cut ties, but don't burn the bridge. Why? Because later on in life, as we get older, it always comes back to people. I wish I hadn't have cut that bridge. That person will say, I wish I hadn't have cut that tie. I miss that person. That person was the best thing for me in my life. So you don't be the one that cuts the bridge. You let them cut the bridge. You find a better way. Now, that number 9, destiny, means this. I have an affirmation for it. The number 9 is reach for the impossible. That's the first part. Reach for the impossible. That way, you pick up all of the possibilities. So reach for the impossible. Someone said, well, how are you going to go out there and have a film company? How are you going to have a fashion industry? How are you going to be on Fashion New York? How are you going to get there? You don't even have any pictures. Inside, inside your heart, inside your mind, you have a dream. You're going to find a way to do it. People do it all the time. They have their own fashion parties, right? Yeah. People have their own fashion parties. They get a few people together, relatives, some friends, and they start showing some things off. What do they think? Then they create some tickets. They did it for a couple of weeks out of a month. They said, okay, we can make this bigger. We're going to create some tickets and some bulletin board posters and some flyers. We're going to run a small little place and we're going to have coffee, tea, and a snack or some finger sandwiches for everybody there. We're going to invite somebody from the newspaper or magazine and let them take pictures. We're going to have photographers. And next thing you know, you've been built up a fashion industry. You became an independent fashion person. Have it all the time. You do them 4 times a year. Allow yourself to stitch and stitch and stitch. So you have a couple of outfits, custom made, selling in a store. That's just an example if that's what you were doing. So look at this. Your angle of destiny had a master number 55. Master number 55. That's powerful. 5 is communication. 50 is a rebirth of ideas and thoughts. 5 is a communicator. 55 means you're going to find a way to project your thoughts onto the world, to impact the world. You're going to find a faster, easier way so that it works well for yourself and for other people. That 55 is a great number. Why? Because 5 is the middle road between 1 through 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the other side of 5 is 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's the middle of 10. 5 adapts. 55 means adapt your mind to your life's patterns and situations. Adapt your heart to things. Adapt physically to things. Be a great communicator. Articulate your ideas. 5 is a salesperson, a marketing person, a network marketer person, a promotional salesperson, a TV personality, a radio personality. 55 can talk. 55 says all the important things. 55 gets the gist of the information out so people come back for more. You're the information seeker and builder. That's for you. Now we have somebody else in the mix here. Who else do we have? Let me back up a little bit. Thank you, everybody. Um, if you go to my website, I did never put my website in here. Let me put my. I should have put it in there. If you need to find out more things about what I do, this is my website. It has a US. I'm gonna put a little slash behind it, and that's my website. You can find out other things. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Paquette. If I pronounce that right, Spiritware. That's my website, and you can go to my website www.circleofgrace with the number one.us, and you can find out about free enrichment training classes that I give once a month on the second Tuesday. I'm out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if you're in New York, East Coast, it would be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're in the Central Time Zone, it would be 6 p.m. If you're in here, like Mountain Time Zone, it's 5 p.m. If you're on the West Coast, Pacific Time, then it would be 4 p.m. I also have something called Creative Pathwork Meditation Series, and I do that online. I have first Sunday afternoons, the very first Sunday, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For me, it's 1 p.m. If it's the first Tuesday night of the week, not counting election night, then it's at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can go on there. I don't say it on the website, but I'll throw it out. If you're 68, 62 and higher, you only pay 20. And if you are under 68, 62, you pay 25. But if you need more information about anything on my website, you can go to my contact page, uh, link in there, or you can just send an email to this address, and this will give you more information. I don't put everything up because a lot of people tell you got so much stuff I don't know what to choose from. I put a lot of stuff up. I've been doing this stuff for almost 50 years. So I have a tendency to put a lot more maybe than I should. But once it's up there, it's up there. I also have a dream blog. I also have something else called Two Bears, which I got to do tonight. It's it's a newsletter that you get online in your email box. If you want to find out about Two Bears, email me. And it's written like this: Two bears. You'll see a drawing of a brown bear and a black bear, and I'm talking through the two bears, and they're talking about infinite power, divine grace. They talk about the grace key of the month, and they talk about maybe a creative password meditation, which I have. I have that. That comes out every month by the first, between the first and the fifth. I try to get it out as fast as possible. Then 6 times a year, I have another newsletter just called the Grace Keys. And these are very inexpensive. So if you want to find out about these, just write, send me to that email, and I'll show you how you could pay for them. I have PayPal, I have Zelle, I got Venmo, or what else I have, GPay or Google Pay. All right. There's one I got Cash App. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can pay. I haven't even thought about donations and things. I just love to do what I'm doing. I'm age 70. I got a lot of energy. Ain't going nowhere. So I'm gonna be out here. Maybe at some point, if I turn this into a Patreon site, it won't be expensive to be a member. But I have to think about that. Okay. So we got 10 people watching. I got 10 likes. I'll say it again. Now, before I do that, because I know I put a lot of information out, let me back up to see, because I know someone jumped on here. Oops. I know someone jumped on here not too long ago, and I don't think I wrote them in. Let's see. Yes, yes, it was Latanda is here, and Jackie. Don't want to forget Jackie Fillmore from Baltimore is here. Well, you're not from Baltimore, but you are from Maryland. So you jumped on. You're 37 1950, and then we have Latanda. Latanda, I want to put you in. I don't want to sign off and then go oops and have my ancestors jack me up and say you left some people hanging. Don't want to do that. So next is Jackie. Before we do that, I want to read an affirmation of these numbers. And again, if you want to get the book, there's a link in the description that takes you to Amazon, and you can now purchase the purchased book. Well, numerology is not a pseudoscience. You know, people try to tell us it's a pseudoscience, but it's not a pseudoscience. Simply because we have to use our mind in order to interpret these numbers. And there's a lot that happens when we do that. I found out over the years, whether you're a musician, an artist, a carpenter, a builder of things, one who builds bridge, you're dealing with numbers all the time. If you weren't considering yourself as a bright person, sooner or later you'll find out that you are smartening up, getting brighter and brighter and brighter. Why? Because you got ideas, you got thoughts, and it makes you think. Here's an affirmation for the zero: I am the beginning and the end of all that is everywhere. I, as the zero, am nothing, and yet I am you as well. I am the womb, the true matrix. and an integral part of your well being. You are birthed through me, the alma mater. The alma is the mother of matter. I am that I am, all in caps. So let that process a little bit. Let's take a look at Jackie Fillmore Antoine, another Pisces here, born on the seventh day in 1950. And here again, this is a birth year like 1959 that adds to a six. So I'm going to add it first, but I'm going to interpret the number seven. Well, looky here. You got a birth year, 1960, that produces a 25 or a 16, which is a 7. So that intensifies. When you have a destiny number that's a 7, and your birthday number, calendar day is a 7, it intensifies that vibration. So we have to, that's why I had to come up with this concept of angle of destiny, the direction you need to take. Your birthday number says this is what you're born with, your qualities. So you have a single digit 7. Your qualities, you're already a spiritual person. You walked into this planet out of your mother's womb as a spiritual, metaphysical person, as a being that's beyond the physical world. You're already connected to divine source. You're already connected to nature. You might have a connection with plants, music, sound, healing sound. You might be a person that can go into therapy. You could be a therapist, psychiatric counselor, marital counselor, educator, artist, musician, spiritual magician, illusionary magician, holistic healer. You cover a lot of different territories, Jackie, that you could have an interest in at any given time. You are with that 7, you're always seeking your direction. See, when you're born on a single digit from 1 to 9, the single digits are more clear cut. If you're born on a compound number, it's not that you're not clear cut, but you like complexities. You can deal with complexities. Single digits doesn't mean that you can't deal with complexities. You just get to the matter right away. In other words, you're not like me. I'm 16. I'm long winded. Jackie is not long winded. Jackie's gonna get to the point. Jackie's gonna say how it is. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad I'm doing this. Like I said, I followed spirit. I was gonna come on to Monday, but I said, well, Lloyd does Monday, so I would have to come on later. But something said, come on now, and I just got finished doing something earlier. So this 7 means that you are natural when it comes to the metaphysical, the spiritual, studying occult sciences, studying herbology, studying aromatherapy. These things come natural to you. They're natural to you. You understand how they work and why they work. Now, your destiny number adds to a 25. That means you are a seeker of truth. You do research, you're looking for the truth. You're not looking for nonsense, for BS, for lies. You're looking for the truth. If you find lies, you're going to break them down where the truth is, the truth of a situation. Okay, that's what you're here to do. Oh, you're welcome, Miss Stephanie. And you'll be able to come back this live because I'm gonna may talk about something a little extra, but you can come back and view this. This will be right here. See, I've been on here for almost 2 hours. As I say, I'm long-winded. I will be cutting it off after a while. But thank you for coming on and joining me. So, Jackie, you got this 25. That means you are a seeker of truth. And you have a good eye. You observe everything. Nothing gets past you. You could be at a lecture hall listening to a speaker. And when you're tuning into the speaker, if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense. If the person is cooking up information, because that 25 says you're a studious person. You're always going to be studying things. So if you see something that's off, you're going to confront it. Now, if they got room for you to ask questions, you're going to want the mic and you're going to have something to say. Just so that there's greater clarification in your mind. Now, I also see a 16 in there. The 16 is a number of grace or the fall from grace. For you, you're not falling from grace, but you will see other people around you fall from grace. That means people in high positions that should have maintained those positions or remain those in those positions, they will fall. Okay. So you will see that, but you're not one to place others on pedestals. That's not you. You like to see the person live their life, be practical minded with their life. That's you. That's very, very important. Here's another thing. Since it all reduced to the number seven, seven again is that spiritual number, that wholesomeness. But you have it as a birthday number. You didn't come to learn it. What you came to learn is this, what it adds up to. So it produces 25 and 7 is 32. Hey, you're welcome, Amber. You're welcome. So the number 32, 30 with the 2. So you're here to make sure things come together. That's one of the things. Things must come together. Things must make sense. That's why you got the 7 birthday number and the 7 destiny number. When you add the 16 to the 7, this you got the 32 from 25 plus 7. Now I add the 16 to the 7. That's a 23. That means no matter what you go through in life, Jackie, you're here to thrive, not just survive. You're not here to work, to live at a snail's pace, inch by inch by inch. You're here to capitalize on whatever it is in front of you. So you're here to conquer things. That 23 means you're going to last and live a long time. Now I add the 7 and the 7. That's a 14. That's balance and moderation. Remember, I said the mutable signs in astrology are Pisces, Virgo, its opposite, Gemini, its opposite, which is Sagittarius. 14 is a Sagittarian number. 23 is almost like gregarious, almost like a Leo kind of energy. 14 tells us this: you must use balance and moderation. So, in order for your life to function, Jackie, you got to be balanced and you got to use moderation. In other words, you have to moderate your life. You can't monitor your life. You can't be too far to the right, too far to the left, and you can't stay in the middle so long either. While we're in the middle too long, we create a rut. In fact, the word career means wagon wheel, which means rut, spinning your wheels. So you always have to create some different curves in your life so that it has what more variety, more spice to it. That is essential to your well-being. In fact, that's what the 32 is like. Life must be spicy, it must be exciting, it must be something that you're doing that creates that. The 14 is balance and moderation. Glad I'm drinking water because my throat is tightening up. That 14 produces a 5. So the double sevens bring you a 5. You must communicate your ideas. You must be articulate. You must write about some of your ideas. So maybe you create a blog. You can create a one-page blog. You can go to something like WordPress and get a free account and just write and put out these little blogs once a month. If you can do them every week, fine. If you can do them twice a month, fine. But if you write once a month, hey, and you don't have to have it due out on the first. You can give yourself time. It can be due out within the first 5 days, but it gets out there. You can create an audience that way. 5, though, means you're going to adapt to the pattern of energy you see happening in your life. You're always going to find ways for something to make sense. That's what you're here to do. You have that 7 birthday number. You came equipped metaphysically and spiritually. but you also are learning how to improve on it. That's your destiny number, improving on it and creating balance and moderation. So you're not going to work yourself, work your fingers to the bone, as they say. You're going to have fun with it. That's essential to your well being. And since you're born in 1950, which is a six, that's another way you're going to create balance and harmony that way for yourself. You're not going to ever do anything where you're overbalanced. Okay, so now we're going to go to who else here? In fact, I'm going to, for people who will come back later and watch this, I'm going to do this so that we don't forget anything. All right. So I don't know who's still on. Then let me back up a little bit and let's see. I want to, if I do it now, I might interrupt myself. So what I should do, for those of you that have compound numbers, I'm going to use the single digits when I bring out the gemstones. So I want to make sure I have room for that, okay? And then another time when I come on, we'll work at a birthday. We'll work at somebody's name. Okay, so here's something. Oh, you're welcome, Jackie. So Latanda, and Lloyd always say numbers follow each other. We had 28s come up and follow 28 destiny number, 28 angle of destiny, 28 birthday. We had a master number 11 popped up, a 17 birthday number when we had a 4 birthday number. Then we popped up here, and now we've got what? We have a master number that was in the angle of destiny for somebody. And now we have a birthday number 24. Now we got a root digit 7. And now I mentioned about a 23 around somebody. And now we have a birthday number 23. Well, Jackie's Angle of Destiny had a 23 in there, and now Latanda has the 23 as a birthday number. So we might as well add yours up before I give you this interpretation. Okay, so and here's someone had a birthday number 24. Latanda has a destiny number, which is 24. So she came here to learn about what? How to delegate duties, obligations, and responsibilities. If you're in a family, that's what you're going to do. You're going to make sure your family is well balanced. So you're going to make sure that people are on point with you. Okay. Latanda, you're born on the 23rd day. So the 23rd means you're not going to waste your time. 23rd means you're going to pull everything together. You're a Virgo 23, so that makes you a double 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. 23 means you're here to be the best of the best under your sign for yourself. 23 means you thrive. But what you must avoid with the 23, and this is the compound numbers specifically as birthday numbers, we attract a lot of different people into our lives. So that 23, 24, 16, 11, got to watch out for drama. So that means you have to have high self esteem so you don't get drawn into drama in your life. And it doesn't have to be in your life, it could be between parents, grandparents, couples, siblings, bosses, employees, co partners. They can be having a lot of drama and you right there. But why are you there? Because they depend on your energy to straighten them out. But you don't want to get caught in that too much because then they want you to take a side. So 23, I always say, has a strong vibration like a Leo energy to it. So the 23 means you're going to take a stance and you're going to say, okay, you have something to say, you have something to say, but don't draw me into this. The minute you try to draw me into it, and how people do that, they always say right or wrong, right or wrong. Why do people say that? Because they want to force you into being on their side that they're right when they're wrong. That's why people say it. So if you hear somebody in a conversation or a debate and they say right or wrong, it's right or wrong. Well, that's thrown at you so you get sidetracked. They could be stating something that's very, very wrong, but you wind up saying yes. Why? Because they have to have the power. But that doesn't mean they're right. Okay. Again, when people say that, are they living by principle? And then you could ask right or wrong. 9 times out of 10, they're not living by principle. They're functioning off of somebody else, and they're functioning off ego and functioning off emotions. So 23, which is a 5, is a communicator, one who thrives. You do things quickly, Latanda. You do things quickly all the time, and you capture information quick. Nothing gets past you. You hear everything, you see everything, you feel everything. Then you think about it. Then you speak on it. That 23 means if you're not feeling good about what you're hearing, you're not going to offer your opinion, your views, your truths. Why? Because you got to like mull over it, but not just mull over it, you're analyzing every detail before you make a statement. You're looking at the problem in detail. You're looking to see if the problem needs to be solved by you. It may not need to be solved by you. It has to be solved by the person who created it or the people who created it. They don't need to come to you. So that's the nature of the 23. 23 says, I see this, but I also see this. I see this and this, but I also see this. I see this, and this, but I also see this. So 23 is going to be creative with things that they're looking at before they can make a difference. 23 is also what I've found over the years. They have a knack for nature. 23s are like the green thumbs of nature, or they love animals and they communicate with animals through the heart. If they have a dog that's very loving and is playful, that person in that body is going to play that dog till that dog get tired like a child, because the person's inquisitive. The dog is inquisitive, but the person is equally inquisitive. And that dog is going to love that person because it's giving it so much attention, so much love, and also the dog feels comfortable. I can hang with this human because they love me. I can hang with this human because they understand me. I can hang with, if I'm in the kitchen, they tell me to get out, I'm gonna get out of the kitchen. Why? Because they're always gonna take care of me. I had nothing to worry about. See, so there's connection, Latanda. You might have this strong, unique connection with animals and plant life. I also feel you have a strong connection with the mineral kingdom, as in holistic dietary nutritional things. But I also feel there's something that you could do. You could work in the field like a massage person. Like right now, you will be 49 this year. You still might delve into healing. Yeah, I know. Because if we don't learn to stay out of drama, we get burnt out. We have no time, no energy for our own lives. And people bring you in the drama. Why? Because they know you see things that they don't see. You're not missing. You see everything that you need to see, but you don't have to share everything that you do see, because some of the things you see are meant for you to see and what hold it here in case you come in touch with that person later. Now you kind of know what that person is like, and then you don't forget it. You see. So the 23 means you capture things. You're like, your eyes are like a camera. It's taking in information. Your ears through your body is like a tape recorder. You're recording everything you hear, everything that you see, everything that you feel. So nothing really escapes you because you can see it in the way that you need to see it. Now, you have the life path or destiny number year, and yours adds to a 24, which is a 6. So, of course, with the 24, you're going to go into things and you're going to see the things that you need to see about people, life, and situations. You're good at administering, because 6 says, I am a loyal friend. I've come here to show loyalty or learn about being loyalty. I'm in a relationship. I'm loyal to everybody, my partner, my spouse, my children, loyal to my family, where I work at, I'm loyal to that. But that 24 means you can delegate. You can listen, learn, teach, and delegate things out to people. You're very good at it. You're not going to let things escape you. So that's power with that 24. That's very powerful. You're not letting anything escape, anything get past you. Now you might get tired of seeing something. That's that always happens. We can get very, very tired, but that doesn't mean we're sleeping. That means we can see what is going on. Now, with this 23 and that 24, you get a master number. See, if I add that 23 birthday number to your destiny number, you come up with the number 47. That 47 produces a 29. Well, it's a 47, which is 11, but 24, which is 6, and 23 is 29. So the 11 is there twice. So you got that master number. Your angle of destiny is a master number 11. But let's look at the big compound number first, because I like to look at the compound numbers. It's 47. 40 is rebirth, but 40 is purifying, purification. So you might rethink an idea or a thought, break it down to simplicity on some level. 29, you're going to transform those thoughts. Not only break them down, purify things, liquefy something. 40 also deals with remembrance or memory. But 29, 20 means, okay, after I break it down, what needs to be transformed or changed? What do I need to keep and leave alone? You got the in the 40, you have the 7. 7 is that spiritual nature, metaphysical nature. So you're going to look at what something really truly means or how it truly fits in, and hopefully it's healing. Okay. Then you got 29. 9 means you're going to go for the guts of. You're going to make it the best of the best. You're going to reach for the impossible. Why? So you pick up all the possibilities. Then the master number 11. That's the dreamer. So you're here to look at the dream and see it as a vision eventually. Plant the seed. You dream it, plant it. Dream it, plant it. Two, carry it out. Carry it out through what? Peace, harmony, love. Peace, harmony, and love is essential. That's how you're going to have a healthy mind, a healthy body, because you're going to love yourself in the way you need to love yourself. So, what I want to do is just give you guys, men and women on here, I'm going to look at the single digits 1 to 9 because your birthday numbers add to these numbers. And in doing so, I'm going to, these crystals and gemstones were chosen intuitively. In other words, I did a meditation and I started to think what gemstone is going to be applicable. Now, what some people do is they apply the actual numerology system. They might put the Pythagorean system on a gemstone and work it out that way. They might put the Chaldean system on it and work it out that way. Here's something you can do, which is more extraneous. You can figure it out through the Pythagorean. You can figure it out through the Chaldean, get them down to a single digit, and put the two of them together. That could be a little extra. Extra. So this is for all of you who has a birthday number that is 1, 10, 19, or 28th. If you're born on the calendar date, that is 1, 10, 19, or 28. Here is the gemstones and colors. Colors are yellow, gold, and red. Yellow, gold, in the order that I give it: yellow, gold, and red. Gemstones are rutilated quartz, ruby, tiger's eye, which is brown tiger's eye, garnet, which is red. Aha. Garnet, which is red. Carnelian, sunstone, fire, fire agate. Bringing that together, fire agate. Okay. Um, what else? Citrine, larimar, chrysocolla, clear quartz, red jasper, turquoise. This is just done intuitively. Now, they're more than that. They're definitely more than that. You can go by online and look up your astrological sign and see what your gemstones are. But these are the ones that I feel that fit more metaphysically and spiritually with your birthday number. If you're born on the birthday number that adds to a two in the series of two, that's the 2, the 11th, the 20, and the 29th. This will pertain to you. Your colors will be orange, silver, white, peach, pink, mint green, and all pastel shades. That's if you're born on a birth date number that is 2, 11, 20, and 29. Here are the gemstones that I picked up intuitively: moonstone, agate, clear quartz, orange, calcite, orange calcite, citrine, amethyst, malachite, chrysocolla, chrysoprase. Yeah, there's a stone called chrysoprase, fluorite, and selenite. That's for all of you born on the 2nd, the 11th, 20th, and 29th. If you're born on the digit of the 3, that's the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, and the 30th. If you're born on the 3rd, 12th, 21, or the 30th, these are your colors: all shades of blue, purple, lavender, dark reds like wine, and burgundy. Your gemstones are lapis lazuli, or pronounced lazuli, sodalite, pyrite, jasper, onyx, amethyst, agate, emerald green, ruby, and turquoise are favored. If you're born on the series of the 4, this would put you with colors and gemstones. The fours are 4, birthday 4, 13, 22, and 31. You will have metallic or shimmery or sparkling kind of colors, electric blues, silver tones or silvers, muted tones, patterns like pinstripes and bands, vertical or horizontal. Okay. You will have window pane. That's like two colors coming together, three colors creating the squares like a window pane. You will have checks and diamond shapes in your patterns. Your gemstones will be hematite, garnet, turquoise, amethyst, agate, especially moss agate, sugilite, and perhaps lapis lazuli and some opal. If you're born on the birthday numbers that are 15, 14, and 23, your colors will be silver, light blue, shimmering, sparkling, and metallic colors, soft or pastel yellow. You'll have white, earth tones like sage, moss green, olive, brown, tan, beige, and black. That's for you who are born on the 5th, 14th, or the 23rd. If you're born on the series of 6, which is 6, 15, and 24, your colors will be all shades of blue, especially royal and sky blue. You'll have pink and coral pink. You will have green, such as emerald green, forest green, olive, and sage. Your gemstones will be ruby, red garnet, pink and green tourmaline. That's pink tourmaline, green tourmaline. There's something called a watermelon tourmaline. The watermelon carries the pink and the green together. Okay. You'll have sodalite, chrysocolla, rose quartz, kyanite. You'll have sapphire, emerald, beryl, iolite. Iolite is a little soft green stone. It looks like glass. You will have topaz and you will have opal. If you're born on the series of the 7th, That's 7, 16, and 25. Your colors will be royal purple, lavender, mauve, that's MAUVE. You will have green, sage, olive, pink, all shades of blue, turquoise, all pastel shades. You'll have wine, burgundy, silver, gold, and white. You got a big list here, number 7, a huge, huge list of gemstones. Which is you're carrying some of the gemstones of the 2 and the 4 and the 1. That's why. You have selenite, first and foremost, your strongest stone. Number 7, amethyst, celestial quartz, clear quartz, bloodstone, moldavite, unakite, aquamarine, tektite, red jasper, danbarite, larimar, malachite, lapis lazuli, sunstone, watermelon tourmaline, pink tourmaline, green tourmaline. You also will carry a blue tourmaline, black tourmaline, amber, citrine, smoky quartz, celestite, hematite, shaman stone, herkimer diamond, pink rose quartz, chrysocolla, kunzite, and kyanite, rhodochrosite, sugilite, fluorite, and rainbow fluorite. Now that's a lot of gems. So guess gems that fit that 7 are also the twos. Okay, people born on 2nd, 11th, 20th, and 29th fit in there. 7, 16, and 25 fit in there. 4, 13, 22, and 31 can wear that, and the ones. 1, 10, 19, and 28 can wear some of these as well. If you're born on the number that added to an 8, you and at a later date I'll pick on some of the careers. If you have the number 8, that's the 8, 17, and 26 as a day that you're born on, your colors will be black. Why? Because it's Saturn ruled. Black, brown, dark green, forest sage, olive, plum, eggplant, midnight blue, dark purple, beige, tan, gray, and muted tones. Your gemstones will be black tourmaline, onyx, hematite, shaman stone, smoky quartz, red jasper, picture agate. You'll see a brown agate stone will have tan and gray and looks like little images. You'll have pyrite, magnetite, ruby, topaz, emerald, azurite, rutilated quartz, malachite, obsidian that looks like glass, is black, snowflake obsidian. It looks like that dark, heavier black glass and it has little etchings, white patterns that look like snowflakes. You will have bronze tiger's eye and lingam. Lingam is a very powerful stone, almost like a naturally magnetic stone, but in a completely different way. Last, if you're born on that 8 day, which was in there, was 8. That's 8, 17, and 26. Now, if you're born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th, your colors will be red, gold, orange, wine, burgundy, and white. Your gemstones will be fire opal, jet, jade, red jasper, amber, red garnet, ruby, danbarite, tanzanite, pink tourmaline, and diamond. So you might say, well, what are the numbers that harmonize with the 9? So if you heard the part of the threes and the sixes, they fit with the 9. Eights usually can carry some of the vibrations of a 6. Okay, but eights walk their own light pretty tight. Eights are neutral, kind of somewhat neutral to a 7, so they can share some of the seven's quality. 5 gets along with everybody, so you might say 5 is kind of greedy. It's got everybody's colors and gemstones. So these are, again, different ways of looking at numerology. I'm glad I came on. I talked for what, 2.5 hours. It's time for me to go to bed, right? It's past 11:11. It's now 11:12 p.m. I'm glad I came on. I'm glad I put this out to everybody that I could put it out to. Again, I don't know if I'll be on every Sunday night, but I will pick a night and I'll just come on. So that's why it'll be good for you to click the notification bell that when I'm on, then you know that I'm on and you don't miss. Okay. I'm going to somehow. You are welcome, Latanda. You're welcome, Spirit Wear Paquette. Thank you, Jackie Fillmore, Antoine. Thank you, Amber Jajola. Yes, you're going to do well. Oracle T. Thank you very much. Who was else was on here? My good friend Will Entertainment. He was here. Who else did I do? Brendy. I did Brendy. I did Tara Smith was on here. Oh, there she is. I'm later. Mm, Missy Be Awakened. I'll do one more. Give me your birthday, Missy. What's your birth month, day, and birth year? You'll be the last person. Oh, another Pisces. And another person born in 1970. So we added up. 3 9 is 12. And that's going to give us 1982. That's going to give us a 20, which is a 2. If we look a little deeper in there, we will see the master number 11 inside of your destiny number. You're the 9. As I said, 9 people. 9 are your natural warriors, instinctive warriors. 9 are the people that you never pick a fight with. They may not fight you right away, but they will finish it. Okay. Nines could be fiery and emotional, but you're in a water sign, so your energy would be a little different. You would carry your energy where a person is not going to tick you off. You're going to wait and wait and wait until they chill out because you'll play more like a mental chess with them so they chill out a little bit more. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. And I don't like to leave anybody out, but you will be the last person tonight. Um, you also have with the nature of the 9 is that you can see a wide variety of things. So you have visions, you should pay attention to your dreams. People, everybody should pay attention, but especially ones, twos, fours, and sevens should pay attention to dreams, and eights and nines. Nine represents all the numbers from 1 to 8. You're the culmination of all the numbers. Like they say, Pisces a culmination of all the sun signs, and you're a Pisces 9, so you get both. You're a culmination of all the numbers 1 through 8, producing a 9, and all the other 11 zodiac signs in your sign. This, when I see a fire sign and a water sign, that means you got a lot of drive. You're passionate about things you believe in. You're passionate about your philosophy. You have a lot of compassion for people at the same time. You're constantly a giver. You're seeking who you can give the love to, give the unconditional love and attention to, who you can serve peace to. You carry that vibration. And see, 1970 is an 8. It looks like it's a 7 universal year, but it's actually an 8 universal year. So you are striving to take care of the downtrodden, the people can't speak for themselves. Yeah, you might could make a good person that could go into the field of politics or community affairs or become a mayor, but you would feel more comfortable as a teacher, not always in the educational field, but also stepping into the metaphysical field. You make an excellent astrologer. That would be something that you would like. You could be a spiritual mentor or a life coach, as they call now, or they say a transformational life coach. You might be a speaker. You might be a writer. You would be good at writing biographies. You'd be good at starting a magazine, be a journalist in the street or your own radio program because you like to bring thoughts together. That's important for you. You like to bring ideas. You're good at throwing parties and big gatherings and small gatherings as well. You like bringing a lot of people on board. This is something that you enjoy doing. You might work together with other people and to make other people happy. Yes, writing a book. See, but your book is going to touch people. If it's fictional, it's going to be a storyline that's going to touch people. If it's nonfiction, it's going to touch people. If it goes into, let's say, holistic things and health and nutrition, it's going to touch people. If it went into a political theme, it's going to touch people. You're going to find a way to make that book impact the lives of other people. And then I could see you going out on a circuit and talking or creating a platform around the book. So you have good ideas and you have good thoughts, and you're always preparing and to make sure those thoughts work for other people. Now, I said you have the life path number 20. There is a master number hidden in there, which is the number 11. So you're going to dream the big dream. You're going to create the vision that works for the world. Okay. But that 20 means you came here to make changes in the world. 20 is a number of rebirth, birth, generation, regeneration, and transformation. So you're here to transform into new visions, transform philosophies, old philosophies, and make them and fashion them into something new. You're going to work with people on a broader scale. That's going to be important. These numbers reduce or come from the root digit 2. And what does that mean? Well, the nature of the 2 is this. 2 is the gift of partnership. So you're always going to find a way to partner up with the right people. You're a Pisces person, which makes you naturally intuitive and empathic at the same time. So it would be good for you to study metaphysics, study spiritual things. If you want, study different rituals and stuff, but really get into the meat of what makes us spiritual and what makes us practical and what makes us open to the spiritual nature, to the divine world. Because if you use that, that will impact your teachings more and the information that you're putting out into the world. And then you can attract people on a higher level. You're very much like motivational. I kind of feel that you motivate people to do things that are good for themselves. I could see you writing a book that connects with children or teenagers or young adults and then helping them step into higher platforms. You're here to bring peace. The nature of 2 is peace, harmony, and happiness. So you might become a conflict negotiator, or maybe you work with contracts and things of that nature. So you might help people do that. There you go. So this book will help people do that. Okay, this person has master number 44 in there. So, what is the soul number 11 in the life path? Your soul number, as the way I look at it, is your soul urge. That's what you long to do. You long to make an impact. You long to see a dream and fulfill it. That's what the sum total of the vowels add out to. But if you have a life path or destiny number, as I call it, with the 11, you're working extra hard to do it because it's not an easy path. When you have a life path or a destiny number that is 11, 22, 33, and so forth, you work extra hard. That means you really have to know yourself well enough to execute your ideas. You have to know your ideas well. You have to have mastered them enough so that when you put it out there in front of other people, it makes sense. So when you the destiny or life path number is a master number is 11, you're going to take a dream. You're going before you exercise the dream. You're going to look at every aspect of the dream. You're going to break the dream down. You're going to see it on the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the ethereal. You're going to check it out on its different levels, and then you're going to see how you can apply it. But you have to first apply it in your own life. Your destiny number is what you need to do and make your life better than what it is, how you can become more successful. So, a master number, master something. Master your thoughts, master your mind, master your body, master business ideas, master creative ideas, and then exercise them. So as you're mastering them, exercise them. Be more scientific with it. Have a scientific approach or a metaphysical type approach or a spiritual type approach. You're going to find different ways. If you have the soul now, if this is you and you're carrying the soul number 11, means this is what inwardly, this is what you strive to become. You want to be the dreamer and you want to be the master of the dream. So if you have a lot of dreams, I would create a dream journal and I would pay a lot of attention to it. The symbols that come up in your dreams. That's going to be very, very important. That also means, and see, you're carrying a master number, two of them, three of them in your name. Yeah, you have to write your dreams down because dreams cover a lot of territories. Then at some point, you could travel into the dream. You could actually bring it up as a meditation and go into it to see what else you missed. That's going to be important for you. Really start to pay attention. Dreams are going to be important now with all the things that are going on in the world. Keep in mind, when you see a lot of negativity going on in the world, sometimes that's on the inside, it's being projected out, which can be true. But also, there are people doing rituals to make people have bad dreams, nightmares, dreams too. And that's why you have to gain control over your dreams. You have to be able to walk into your dream and make it a lucid dream. So you could change the dream, the outcome of the dream. So when you bring it into your waking state, you can change what's going on in the waking state. Shamans from all cultures have said the life that we live is from our dreams. You're living the dream now. So that's sometimes we dream by default. We have so much things that come to mind. We can't change everything that fast, but we can learn to change everything that fast. Yes, if we work on drinking pH water and exercising just right, moving the body just right, clearing the mind just right, not overdoing it, creating the balance. Why? So we can begin to remember what we came here to do. If we can begin to remember what we came here to do, our lives will run smoother. I always tell people I had to learn how to do it over the years. Thank you. So are you. You got to learn how to meditate. Our ancestors say, learn how to pray. When you're praying to the universe, you're talking to the universe. But when you're meditating, you're listening for that prayer to come back with the answer. So your prayer can become a meditation. This is why we need to sometimes learn affirmative prayers. I have all kind of books. You go on Amazon, you'll see I have other books. I have a teleseminar notes left over. Wisdom of Akhenaten. That's a channeled book. I came here to remember where I've been. The companion to Akhenaten. Called, let me get the light, called the gift, the wisdom of Nefertiti as I am. I remembered being with them. I didn't remember right away, but I started remembering in 2015, 2016, just 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago. I remembered that I'm a writer. Decree and it shall be. This is how to use your prayers, how to write your own prayer, how to use an affirmation to make it work, how to use an affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayers are taught by Unity Church, Divine Science, um, Center for Spiritual Living, which is based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, which is the science of mind. You learn that there. But this book will give you some and shows you some. How to use prayer, how to write your own prayer, how to write an affirmation clearly for yourself, how to use affirmative prayer, and how to use a decree. Decree is to speak it into existence. It took a long time to speak that numerology book into existence, but I kept teaching it. You see, I'm a person that works with selenite. I got selenite throughout my home. Here's my book I did in, when did I do this book? I wrote this book in 2020 really fast. This is called the Age of Remembrance, the Divine I Am Presence in Selenite. You look really close. This is a picture of a tabular selenite that I have sitting over there. But if you look real close, and it took me a while to see it, It has a guardian in it. Underneath, there's one eyebrow. Here's this other eyebrow, two eyes, long nose, and a mouth looking right at you. Guardians in my tabula. Selenite is the gemstone of this era of time where we can step into the higher vibrations of ourselves. In that book, I talk about how I came into selenite in 1988 through a dream, caught it at a psychic fair, and haven't looked back since. Selenite is a powerful stone. I have all over my place. I carry selenite here. This is uh, a piece broke off in a warrior effect with somebody's mind, in my mind, but in person. Um, but this is a selenite healing rod. I use this to blow through. I make it to myself like as a crystal didgeridoo. But I use this on my clients, and I help them make changes in their life. This is very powerful to work with. I sleep with it. When my back is out of whack, I put it up against my back, and it makes my spinal column a little better. It makes the legs and the muscles a little better. When we get gemstones, the reason for having, I said, so I'm going to go into some things. The reason why we have gemstones, why we're attracted to gemstones, because our body is craving for the trace mineral to be boosted up. So it's your body that's calling. It's not you mentally calling the gem. Sometimes the gem is calling us. There's a woman by the name of, look her up online. Her name is Leela Lee or Leela, Leela Hutchinson. She's the first American woman that was invited in 1999, I believe it was, to go into the Nika Mountains, Naica Mountains in Mexico, about 6, 7, 8 miles deep. They took her, the Mexicans, researchers took her into a selenite cavern, and the shards of the selenite are like 37, I think she says 37 feet long, but these shards are so big that they had to wear, some of them had to wear suits, hazmat suits, to try to keep the body cool. She was walking around in there with shorts on because she could handle the vibration. But the selenite is very, very powerful. Yeah, I keep one on me. I have a little short piece that I wear. Hope it's still there. It's there somewhere. I'm so powerful with stones. Sometimes my energy can be rough with a stone, but I carry the a lot on me. Yeah, here it is. I got a little piece of selenite that I wear all the time. It helps attune me on a different frequency. The selenite works from the 14th chakra up, and it can go deep into the earth, but it goes higher up. It goes past the 12th chakra, 13th, and it starts working its energy from 14 and up, which is another way of saying if you got 7 chakras in your body, imagine another portion of you here sliding down into your body. So that's what happened. All these light forms are coming down into the body, expanding our awareness. So I'm going to sign off right now. I've been on 2 hours and 48 minutes. It reminds me when I used to have my blog talk radio show and I'd be talking nonstop. You want to get the numerology book? I left the link in my description. You click on it and it should take you right to Amazon. If not, just go to Amazon and type in "The Key to Life is Numerology," dash subtitle, your name and date of birth through the study of numbers. Now, when it comes up, it may read your name and date of birth expressed through the study of numbers. However, it is the same. So it sells. You'll see the price. There's no Kindle for that book. There's no Kindle for this one. There's no Kindle for this one. There is a Kindle for this one. There's no Kindle for the numerology. There's no Kindle for the selenite book. And if you want to know how my life came to be, then you need to get the very first book, which is this book. This is my very first book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace, and talks about all the things that I went through. And it has some affirmations in here, but it does have some channeled affirmative prayers in here as well. Um, okay, so I'm gonna get off now. I have to thank my ancestors, my late mother, Grace, who the Circle of Grace One is named after. She's the first grace of my life. That's why it's called Circle of Grace One. Enjoy the book. Enjoy the book. Enjoy the book. There's some things in there that I talk about that others don't talk about in the numerology book. There's a room for many of us. Hopefully, I will have a course put together soon. I'll probably have to put up just a freebie at the moment, an introductory about numerology, but I definitely have to put one together for some interfaith ministers out in Jersey coming up. So I got to work on that one, a little short summarized one. But take good care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for sharing it out. If you liked it, I know you did. Click like. If you don't like it, let me know. Uh, doesn't bother me, but it always lets me know that I need more work to do. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get a personal response wherever I show up on YouTube. Everybody have a good night. Sleep well, sleep tight. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I don't know how to make that on my cell phone, but you did it. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Sleep well. See you soon. My grace is your grace. Until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon.